November 17th, 2013. Joey Davidson is huddled in the basement of his 3-story home in Washington, Illinois, his 2 young children pressed underneath him as the walls begin to shake. Above him, he hears the roof tear away. Then the top floor disappears. And then utter chaos. Cinder blocks rain down on top of him as the most powerful November tornado in Illinois history tears his home apart in a matter of seconds. It is mid-November in the heartland. Thanksgiving is just 10 days away. Nobody is thinking about tornadoes. But on this quiet Sunday morning, the atmosphere is hiding a terrifying secret. And by the end of the day, over 70 tornadoes will rip across 7 states in the deadliest and costliest November tornado outbreak in Illinois history. 5 days earlier, meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center begin monitoring a developing weather pattern moving across the western United States. A massive trough of low pressure is carving its way eastward from the Rockies toward the Great Lakes, dragging behind it a belt of extremely fast-moving upper-level winds. Normally, in mid-November, this would not be cause for major alarm. The cold autumn air across the Midwest typically lacks the warmth and moisture needed to fuel severe thunderstorms, let alone tornadoes. However, this system is different. Ahead of the approaching trough, a powerful surge of unseasonably warm and humid air from the Gulf of Mexico is being pulled northward deep into the heartland, pushing temperatures into the low 70s across central Illinois. Dew points are climbing into the mid-60s, values more typical of a May afternoon than a November morning. This dangerously unstable air mass, combined with the incredibly strong jet stream winds racing overhead, is creating an environment loaded with both atmospheric instability and extreme wind shear, the 2 critical ingredients needed for the formation of violent rotating thunderstorms called supercells. Recognizing that these conditions are becoming increasingly favorable for a significant tornado outbreak, the Storm Prediction Center takes the extraordinary step of issuing a high risk for severe weather across parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, the latest in the year such a high risk has ever been issued for the Midwest. Included in this outlook is a 30% chance of tornadoes, with a notation that long-track, intense tornadoes are possible. For many residents across the region, however, it is a lazy Sunday morning. Some are in church. Others are watching the Bears game. Severe weather in November just does not happen here. At least, that is what everyone thought. By late morning on November 17th, the capping inversion begins to erode as the cold front races eastward. Discrete supercell thunderstorms erupt across the length of Illinois, firing one after another in a dangerous line stretching hundreds of miles. Recognizing the immediate threat, the Storm Prediction Center issues back-to-back, particularly dangerous situation tornado watches for Illinois and Indiana, warning of the likelihood of several intense, long-track tornadoes. However, many residents, unaccustomed to severe weather this late in the year, underestimate the danger. Some do not have weather radios. Others dismiss the warnings entirely. They have no idea what is about to happen. At 10:59 a.m., the first killer tornado of the day touches down 2.5 miles southeast of North Peak in Illinois. Quickly intensifying as it moves to the northeast, the tornado crosses Interstate 474 at EF2 strength, tearing into the outskirts of East Peoria, destroying 20 homes and causing major damage to 75 more. But the tornado is only getting started. Continuing to strengthen with every passing second, the massive supercell drives the tornado directly into the heart of Washington, Illinois, a city of 16,000 people. At 11:06 a.m., the tornado becomes violent, reaching EF4 intensity with winds estimated at 190 miles per hour, the strongest November tornado ever recorded in the state of Illinois. Entire subdivisions disintegrate as the half-mile-wide tornado carves a path straight through the center of town. Along Mackenzie Street, a row of well-constructed homes is completely obliterated, every single structure swept clean off its foundation, the debris granulated into tiny, unrecognizable fragments. On Coventry Drive, another row of homes simply vanishes, leaving behind nothing but bare concrete slabs and debarked trees. Nearly 5,000 people are directly in the tornado's path. It's at this moment, on Fayette Avenue, that 82-year-old Rosamond Allison is sheltering in her home when the tornado strikes. The structure is no match for the EF4 winds and is completely destroyed around her. Rosamond initially survives, pulled from the wreckage by rescuers, but the injuries she sustains are severe. 11 days later, she will pass away, becoming one of 3 people killed by the Washington tornado. Just a few blocks away, Joey Davidson and his wife Ashley are in the basement of their 3-story home with their 2 young children when the tornado passes directly overhead. They hear the roof go first, then the top floor. Then the world becomes nothing but flying cinder blocks and chaos. Ashley holds the children beneath her while Joey shields them from above, his vertebra and shoulder fracturing as debris slams into his back. As long as he can hear his children crying, he knows they are alive. Despite his injuries, Joey claws his way out of the mountain of debris, driven by one thought: getting his kids to safety. The entire neighborhood around them is gone. Cars are mangled beyond recognition. Trees are stripped bare. Personal documents and photographs are carried by the winds over 80 miles away, found days later in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. Before we get into the rest of the action, I'd like to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor of this video. Now, back to the outbreak. As the Washington tornado continues its 46-mile path of destruction through 4 counties, flattening farmsteads and destroying over 600 homes and businesses, the atmosphere across Illinois is only becoming more volatile. And the nightmare is far from over. At approximately noon, 150 miles to the south, a second violent tornado touches down southwest of New Minden, a tiny village of just 215 people in Washington County. A tractor trailer is blown off of Interstate 64 as the tornado rapidly intensifies, racing northeast toward the countryside. 2 miles southwest of town, the tornado reaches EF4 intensity with winds estimated at 180 miles per hour and strikes the farmstead of Joseph Hoy and his sister Frances. Joseph, 80, spent his life on that farm raising exotic birds, quail, pigeons, sometimes even ostriches. He was known across the community for his kindness, remembered by friends for knowing the names of every single member of their 200-person bird club. The decades-old farmhouse is completely swept off its foundation, leaving nothing behind but bare ground. Joseph's body is found in a field over 100 yards away. Frances, 78, is pulled from the rubble but succumbs to her injuries at the hospital. Their farm, once full of life, is reduced to barren land. The tornado continues into New Minden itself, toppling the steeple of St. John's Lutheran Church, which had just let out from Sunday services minutes earlier. In the cemetery just north of the church, 200 tombstones are knocked flat. Pastor Tim Mueller receives a frantic call from a neighbor. Something about seeing the sky through their living room. Something about the steeple. He rushes home to find his community in ruins. But the storm system is relentless. As the Washington and New Minden tornadoes carve their paths of destruction, the atmosphere across the Midwest is only becoming more volatile. The approaching cold front is accelerating eastward, interacting with the unseasonably warm and humid air mass to generate extreme amounts of low-level wind shear. Supercells erupt across Illinois and into Indiana, each one spawning tornadoes at a staggering pace. Back in Washington, Cherokee Sparks emerges from the wreckage of his leveled home. He had watched cars rolling down the road, roofs of houses flying across the street, and dump trucks being shoved back and forth before his entire home collapsed to a single wall. As the structure came apart around him, Cherokee grabbed his stepfather by the arm and dragged him to safety. Everything the family had saved and built over 39 years is gone in seconds. 100 miles to the northeast, An EF2 rips through the small community of Diamond near Joliet, destroying an entire subdivision and forcing an evacuation. Matt McCullough watches the funnel form over the fields behind his house before herding his 4-year-old son and 96-year-old grandmother into the basement. The air gets lighter. Then it goes quiet. Then he hears everything getting torn apart. An EF3 tears through Gifford in Champaign County, flattening homes and snapping trees across its path. In Indiana alone, over 30 tornadoes touch down, the largest November tornado outbreak the state has ever recorded. As the sun begins to set, the most devastating tornado of the entire outbreak strikes far to the south. A long-tracked, heavily rain-wrapped EF3 moves along the Ohio River through parts of Kentucky before crossing into Massac County, Illinois, and directly striking the small town of Brookport, population just over 1,000. The tornado tears through 2 mobile home parks and destroys dozens of homes, its winds of 140 miles per hour launching mobile homes over 100 feet from their foundations. In the rural community of Unionville, just east of town, double-wide mobile homes are completely obliterated and swept away, their debris scattered 500 feet downwind. A 7 by 12-foot concrete porch slab is lifted and moved by the force of the winds. 3 people are killed. Scolita Burrus, 63, had been widowed just 6 months earlier and was finally beginning to find happiness again, looking forward to seeing her son for Thanksgiving. Nothing is left of her home. Her car sits in the driveway, but she is gone. Kathy George, 58, who had been married for over 30 years, is also killed. Her husband Charles would later say the thing he misses most is her voice, her smile, just her being there. Robert Harmon, 56, is found at a separate location, the 3rd victim of a tornado that carved a 42-mile path of destruction along the river. By the time the last tornado dissipates over Tennessee late that evening, the outbreak has produced 77 confirmed tornadoes across 7 states, including 2 EF4 tornadoes and 3 EF3 tornadoes in Illinois alone. 32 of the tornadoes reach EF2 strength or higher, the most in any single event since the 2011 super outbreak. 8 people have lost their lives, all in Illinois. Over 200 are injured, with 125 of those injuries in Washington alone. Property damage from the tornadoes statewide reaches a staggering $1.05 billion, with over $800 million of that concentrated in the city of Washington. In the following days, Governor Pat Quinn declares 7 Illinois counties disaster areas. The National Guard deploys to assist with search and rescue. And in a decision that sparks outrage across the state, FEMA denies federal aid to the communities devastated by the outbreak, stating the damage was not severe enough to warrant assistance, a decision that leaves the mayor of Washington and state officials stunned. In the years since November 17, 2013, the communities struck by the outbreak have shown extraordinary resilience. In Washington, 1 in 20 rebuilt homes now features a reinforced concrete safe room in the basement, capable of withstanding EF4 winds. A bronze sculpture called Community Spirit stands in the center of town, a monument to what the people of Washington endured and overcame together. Gabrielle Edwards, whose home was leveled that morning, later described the strange duality of living through it. Sometimes it feels like it just happened, and other times she can't believe it even happened at all. Joey Davidson's home was rebuilt. His children are growing up safe. But the scars remain, and the empty lots that still dot certain neighborhoods serve as quiet reminders of what was lost. Every November, when the weather turns unseasonably warm and the skies darken over the Illinois prairie, the residents of these small Midwestern towns remember the day nobody expected. The day 77 tornadoes tore across the heartland in the middle of autumn and changed their lives forever.